Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and legionnaires of all ages, welcome to a brand new, not quite brand new, might be borrowed from the gentleman on my right show here on the Wrestling Legion podcast. History lesson.
I'm glad my legacy doth continue in some way, shape, fashion, or form.
First off, I am Nick the Geek. You all know me. I am joined today by two very special guests. I am joined by two old friends. I am joined by two old co-conspirators. I am joined by My Laws. My, it's good to see you again.
Of course. I'm always happy to be helping you out in anything, especially when it comes to rewatching older wrestling. And I just saw a really bad botch from the show that we're about to watch, and Luna Vachon just beat the shit out of Dink.
Luna Vachon beat the shit out of pretty much anyone she wanted to, let's be honest. That was maybe the toughest.
By the resident Simon Cowell of my booking show. We are joined by the Captain. Captain, how the hell are you doing?
I didn't sleep worth shit last night. My dog just kept waking me up, but I powered through. Got dishes and laundry going downstairs and everything prepped to make some burgers and chips a little bit later on. My fantasy team in baseball is not doing too well this weekend, but hey, if I get to spend a Sunday afternoon with two of my best friends in this business watching old wrestling, I salivate over this stuff, you know.
Thank you, sir. And today, ladies and gentlemen, as you may have guessed from behind me, we'll be rewatching matches from WrestleMania 10. Bit of a change. The show is called Takeover the Table, and the normal process for this is we will be watching NXT takeovers from the Black and Gold era.
It is
WrestleMania season. It is WrestleMania season. I'm going to WrestleMania next week, so I'm super excited. So I wanted to watch some WrestleMania. This year at WrestleMania, we have Jimmy Uso versus Jey Uso, brother versus brother. So I thought, what better way to celebrate this match than watching brother versus brother from WrestleMania 10? Of course, we can't just watch Bret versus Owen. So we will also be watching probably the other best match on the card, Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels in the ladder match. And we'll be watching what, in my opinion, is the worst match on the card, Macho Man Randy Savage versus Crush, proving that not even Randy Savage can get blood from a stone.
I was about to say, how often have you ever said the worst match on a card involved Randy Savage? Apart from the Doomsday Cage, Uncensored 96, maybe. Christ. That was actually one I was sad about that, because before I left our previous endeavor, myself and I forget the gentleman's name. We're doing another show. We had Captain's Table, which was doing the best matches of all time. We had another one we were doing the worst ones, and we had that on our.
You and Dan from the.
Dan, yeah. That was one we had on our list, was Uncensored 96, and I'm pissed that I didn't get to watch that with Dan and just laugh our asses off, because we got to watch the Body Bag with Taker and Warrior. Oh, yeah. What's Dan doing these days? I haven't heard hide nor hair from.
I'm not entirely sure, but we must move along, gentlemen. First off, gents, I'm going to let you get your plugs in early. Go for it.
Well, this is going to be a big week for Raw Ball. Actually, tonight, Maddie and I are doing Sunday Night Baseball. Tuesday night, the regular Raw Ball podcast, which will be our WrestleMania preview episode. And then WrestleMania this coming weekend, we will be covering both nights. Very, very pumped to see the first match, or the first WrestleMania fully under the Triple H regime.
Oh my!
This is, and you're going to be there live. This will be your second year in a row going to Mania.
Second year in a row. Super excited. All thanks to Simon. Can't wait. Get to go to the Hall of Fame this year.
See, Simon's good for some things. As many times as you've muted him.
He mutes me.
He's got power. He can mute me.
I do. Right, but gents, shall we start the show?
Yeah.
I've got a commercial right now because it's going into the next thing.
So, yeah, Maddie, it's 49:23 is where you need to be on the cock.
I don't know how all of a sudden I have ads, but I do now.
See, this is why I'm watching it on DVD. It's just easier.
No, that is the first time someone's made me feel young in a while, watching it on DVD.
Mate, I turned 41 Sunday just gone.
The last DVD of wrestling I bought was WrestleMania 20, as we were discussing prior. That was the last DVD of wrestling that I bought.
Gents, the time skip is 49 what?
23. 49, 23.
Okay. I am at 49.25. You guys go ahead.
Play.
Good old Howard Finkel. Do you think we'll ever get another Mania in the Garden?
Oh, without a shadow.
No. No.
I do.
No, just because Mania now, especially with them being owned by TKO Holdings, is a profit show. It's about money.
Yeah.
And they cannot get as many asses in seats in Madison Square Garden as they can in the stadium.
Do you think they ever may do like WrestleMania 2 again, do a multiple city where Garden is one and then like MGM Grand or like the Garden or like the Garden Chicago, Los Angeles, like like they did WrestleMania 2. Savage's last WrestleMania.
I know, and he got crushed.
Yeah. Do you think Vince was just ribbing Macho, or because he and Vince were really Savage was still around until SummerSlam. He was the host of SummerSlam this same year, but he and Vince were kind of at each other's throats about the contract issue because he just wanted him to be a commentator.
I think that he knew Randy was going at this point, and he went, "I'm just going to get you to put people over, kid."
So,
and who knew Savage still had another good 3-4 years left in him,
at least. I mean, my favorite Randy Savage match of all time is Halloween Havoc versus Diamond Dallas Page.
Yep, that's a damn good one. Him and Flair,
WCW.
Him and Flair at was it Great American Bash '95 was another really good one.
Nice, straight after Crush.
And we have got a fight going on in the aisleway.
And a really nasty atomic drop.
Yeah.
That was gnarly. That was more of a back bump than fucking anything.
Yeah.
I mean, Crush had been in the business at this point, 4 years, something like that.
Years.
I mean, he's still a little green, and we know Crush would get better as time went. Not a great deal, but he would get better.
No, then he'd get worse.
I thought Crush got a little bit better. I mean, he's better here than he was in '93 SummerSlam against.
He is better here, but then if you look at him in '99 when he was in Chronic, he was bloody awful.
Was that the match?
No.
That's not the match.
The referee,
he's got to hang him backstage. Oh no! Do you not remember the finish to this match, Matty? I won't spoil anything, but
no, I do not.
It's the most ludicrous finish WWE ever did for a false count anywhere. It's absurd.
On to us talking about Crush. My first and fondest memory of Crush.
Oh, gents, feel free to smoke today. New show.
Oh, thank God.
I like the sound of that. But no, what my first memory and what made me like Crush growing up was, I think it was the Royal Rumble on the Genesis.
Royal Rumble, yeah. Royal Rumble on Sega Genesis. Yes, I had that.
Yeah,
that's the Mega Drive to you UK fans.
Exactly.
The Cranium Crunch.
I loved that game. But Crush was my go-to in that.
Which a few feet lower looks like I'm doing something I shouldn't be, but you know.
Well, when I was a very, very young man, I loved the color orange. And Crush used to come out wearing orange and white like a Rebel fighter from Star Wars.
Yep.
So I
SummerSlam '93.
Yeah, I used to love the guy because of his ring gear. And then they put face paint on him, and they changed him all to a heel, and I was not impressed. I was like, this is wrong. This man should not be a guy.
This is wrong.
He's a terrible heel. Even when I was a little kid, I was like, no, he's not good at being a bad guy.
He was an over babyface.
He was a very over babyface. He's a big, powerful dude.
That did big, powerful things.
Just watching Crush's in-ring here, like he's a mixture of sloppy. His footing isn't all that well. I know, just like Nick, Nick and I are kind of the same, and he even impounded that more into my skull, watching footwork, which I'd always done in football, but in wrestling I had gotten away from it. But
he's going for the powder to the eyes.
Also, Cap, what game are we watching today? Because I don't think you said which game.
Dodgers and Cardinals, the Sunday night game.
I'm going to get a quick cheap plug in while we're here and while you're here, Matty, because on the 18th of April, Matty Laws will be stepping up to the plate to take on Albert Avenatti, Kid Justice from Twitter and from the Slam Sessions, in my fantasy booking show, Wrestling With Your Thoughts. Matty, are you looking forward to it? Have you started your book?
I am very much looking forward to it. I am going to be starting my book this week. As you've got an easy one this time, man. As you know, I hop into it very late, but you gave us you say it's easy. You say it's
the first one's easy. You can't mess up on the main book. You cannot mess up on the main book.
What is the main book?
New Blood Rising, Cap.
See, I ordered that pay-per-view. I still have it in my library. I don't think New Blood Rising was as bad as people thought it was. Yes, Judy Bagwell on a forklift. Please spare me. But there were a lot of things about that show that I liked.
At the time, they did the best they could with the talent at the time. But you can't really book a worse show than New Blood Rising. You can only improve it. Is my point. They are also doing, on your suggestion, Captain, WrestleMania 4.
Oh, you devious bastard!
Because that tournament is just
brutal.
Yeah, the tournament was brutal. And then, of course, because I am also a git, they are doing SummerSlam 98 as a co-book.
And that's one that we have to do together.
SummerSlam 98?
Cyberslam.
Oh, Cyberslam. I said SummerSlam 98 was a damn good show. Well, for the SummerSlam 98 had Triple H and Rock in the ladder. It had Austin and Taker. There was some good Edge's debut was SummerSlam 98. I was watching Savage do that atomic drop. Like, how much do you think he fucked his knees up over the years doing that as many times as he did? I mean, that was what ended his career, was just his knees were shot.
Fuji just dumping water on Crush. Get up, man.
Fuji may have been the worst manager in history, but he's like one of those so bad it's good. He makes me laugh. And also one of the classic ribbers in the locker room was Fuji. Fuji was diabolical when it came to ribs. He didn't rib very often, but when he did, you fucking felt it.
In the locker room, I feel like that was a rib to crush right there.
Fuji thought nothing of taking a gentleman's bag, his clothes, his gear, throwing it in the shower, dousing it in lighter fluid, and setting it ablaze.
Oh, bad fall.
Another.
As we're speaking about managers, and there is a certified Hall of Famer in the ring.
Yep.
Everybody happy about Paul Heyman this year? I'm over the moon.
Oh, could not be happier. Could not be happier. Who has they said who's going to be doing the honors for him?
No, but it's got to be Austin.
I think it's going to be Punk.
It could be Punk, but I think it should be Steve. Think of the connection they've had over the years. Going back to the Dangerous Alliance.
Why not Taker? I mean, he managed Taker early on in Taker's career.
Think of the connection all the way through with Steve Austin.
And ECW.
All the way through
Dangerous Alliance. They basically birthed the Stone Cold character in ECW in 1998. Sorry, in 1996.
Yeah, I had not thought of. I knew about the Dangerous Alliance, obviously. Still in my mind, the greatest War Games match of all time: Dangerous Alliance versus Sting's Squadron. Yeah. So they're back in. And there's that big kick from Crush. That one he landed well. That's the first really good move I've seen. He's going for a pile driver.
Pile driver. And ow.
Well, there is some padding there, not a great deal.
Padding? That's a piece of carpet.
I said some padding. Carpet loses to concrete.
It counts.
I'll take it.
And right through the doors.
To what I like to refer to as the worst structure used in wrestling history.
I mean, what is this? This is just a something.
It's just a random bit of scaffold holding up a random bit of roof in a random bit of the production zone.
And Savage has got some hardway color from the mouth here.
Yeah.
And here comes the ridiculousness.
This is just
so
absurd.
Nick, since Cap says he's not interested in booking for a very, very foreseeable time.
Well, for a while, I have to take a break because those 3 rounds with Jimmy really, they knocked me for a loop booking wise.
He is now one of my 2 judges.
I have a question for the 2 of you.
All right.
You have in 1997 the ability to book a WCW versus WWF event. 6 matches.
Oh, and then the fucking
He's bald back now.
a 97 WWF versus WCW event.
W.
I would love to do that with those 2 rosters.
6 matches.
Well, the main event's Taker versus Sting. I'm sorry, it is. In 97, the main event's Taker versus Sting.
That's hard.
Not Hogan versus Austin. I mean, that's your money match right there.
No, not at that time. 97, Austin was on his way up, but he wasn't.
That is right. That is right. 97, he was. 98 was the breakthrough. 97 was the build up.
Yeah. He's still building up. So you have Hogan versus Austin on second to last.
Well, actually, no, I'm taking Austin. I'm saying Bret Hogan.
Well, that works. Hang on, wasn't Bret already in WCW? Oh no, was he? No, he was still there in 97. Are we talking pre-screw job or post-screw job, man?
Pre-screw job. That was November.
Let's say Mania time. Yeah, let's say Mania time. April 97.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do Taker and Sting. I would say match up the 2 champions, Bret and Hogan.
I wouldn't. I'd do Hogan, Hall, and Nash versus Triple H, the New Age Outlaws. DX
no, they weren't. They weren't in DX at that time in '97.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure. Oh, in that case, Hall and Nash versus Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Oh, I like that. If you know the stories, you know the curtain call.
Yeah. Oh, we got Bill Clinton. It's all right.
So, which match are we jumping to next, please?
I was going to say, well, speaking of this fantasy card, Owen versus DDP.
Yeah.
Would be a good one there.
Yeah, that'd be a hell of a one.
Anywho, so now we're doing Bret versus Owen.
We are doing Bret versus Owen.
All right, let me...
And this should be a hell of a lot better.
Yes, let me skedaddle back here.
We're going to be much more invested here. So I'm going to go to the end of the promo that they've got.
Yeah.
I'm on the promo that they've got now, so I'll let you know when it's finished.
And they would also have another banger at SummerSlam this year in the cage, which I think was was actually got a 5-star from Meltzer. The first time he had given WWF a 5-star since Flair or since Savage Steamboat, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
See, my brain isn't as fajizzled as
950
I thought it
is
was.
The timestamp I got, and that was the immediate end of the promo.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for the promo to finish.
Okay. I got the immediate end of the promo, so.
God, Owen was so good.
It's funny because you can see when Bret started to feel really comfortable doing promos because he stopped wearing sunglasses.
And did you see who was interviewing Owen there?
No.
Raven. That was Raven.
Raven. Scotty Flamingo. Scotty Polo, because it was at the time.
I saw the chin, and I was like, wait, that's Raven without the fucking lip.
Yep. Raven pre-extreme.
Taking the cuffs off.
He was still doing extreme shit at this time, right? Or did he just? No, he got into ECW about a year or two later.
Yep. I think because it's a DVD, I got a longer promo than you guys.
Maybe. Because you've got an original cut versus the network cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, just let us know whenever you get the wide shot of the arena as soon as the promo ends, and then we can hit start.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm at 950. That's where I'm at.
Yep, same here. Tapping high, synced up. Look at us. One of us is going to hit unpause at the wrong fucking time.
That's trash. That's treasure. Was when I got in there, I was depositing some checks from some stock I cashed out.
Let's go.
Late.
All right.
So, I think we were 2 matches in. You guys confirmed that you guys both want essentially DX versus NWO. You want Taker Sting the main event.
Yeah. And we want Hogan Austin.
Hogan Austin.
Hogan Brett.
Hogan Brett. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's vengeance for Brett.
But Hogan's not going to do the job. If that were, that's why it's fantasy, not reality.
Match number 4, then.
Road Warriors versus Legion of Doom versus Harlem Heat.
Ooh, well, we had already gotten that in WCW because they had already faced them in '96.
But why not get it again?
Legion of Doom '90.
Is there a better tag team to put against the Harlem Heat at that time?
Well, no, I mean, Legion of Doom and Harlem Heat had some good matches. I'm thinking of like fantasy booking of like matches we've never seen before that we would want to do there.
I feel like
the Horsemen versus the Nation of Domination.
So Flair, Arn, Benoit, and Mongo versus Farouk.
Yeah. Farouk, The Rock, because he just turned.
Yeah.
D'Lo and Mark Henry.
Versus Flair, Arn, Mongo, and Benoit.
Yeah.
Because you also have to remember, Henry was really green at that time, about as green as Mongo was.
Oh, he was green as peppercorns. Well, green as a pepper tree.
Sucker for light heavyweights. Taka Michinoku, who was the light heavyweight champion at the time,
versus Rey Mysterio Jr.
Yeah.
I was just trying to think who I would pair Ray up with, because Ray's got to be on that card.
Yeah, it's got to be Taka.
Ray versus Taka Michinoku at that time would be fucking mental.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely insane.
And with it being 1997, just because I'm sick and twisted, I want Mankind or Cactus Jack versus Raven.
Yeah.
I always say on any big card, you have to have at least one just all-out fucking street fight brawl. That would Raven versus Mick Foley.
So basically, during
Raven's rules match.
You would have during that build-up, you have Raven absolutely assault and mutilate Mankind to where he becomes Cactus.
Other way around.
You have Mankind assault and mutilate Raven to where he becomes Cactus Jack, or is like he just becomes Cactus?
No. He's got to be Mankind for the match. He can't be Cactus.
Yeah, because Cactus didn't debut until September of '97 in WWF.
He's got to be Mankind for the match.
Okay.
So I'd have Mankind go crazy at Paul Heyman and just go after Raven.
I'm a little too young, and I forget exactly when.
You weren't even born.
No. But like in my studies and shit, when did he go from sadistic, leather-wearing Mankind to the big over?
Oh, after he got thrown off Hell in a Cell.
But he was he was wearing that during the Hell in a Cell.
It was.
You mean when did he change his outfit?
Yeah, when did he changed
not long after the Buried Alive match, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
No, Buried Alive was September of '96 against Taker.
He changed his outfit in '97, so it wasn't long after the event.
And then Hell in a Cell was June of '98.
Yeah.
I want to say it was around Survivor Series '98 when he changed the getup. Yeah, it was Survivor, because remember McMahon brought him in and he put on the torn up dress shirt with the half-ass tie. Yeah. So it was Survivor Series '98.
Just to get back to this match, Owen is so good.
He is.
Gets him with the head scissors, stands up. Yes, I'm so good. I'm the best. All you did was hit him with the head scissors, Owen.
Now, Brett only wore this gear that he's wearing like 3 times, and the only other time was against Benoit during the Owen tribute match.
Yeah.
And there was one other time he wore that gear.
I want to say
it was a tag match with Neidhart, wasn't it?
It might have been.
It
might have been the tag match with Neidhart when Neidhart turned on him.
I believe so. Because that gear holds a lot of importance to Brett. I know that specifically.
Yeah. And I love on commentary how Jerry Lawler is just the biggest Owen Hart. He is just blowing. He blew Owen Hart all the time.
I call him his chill.
And Jerry and Brett had such a great rivalry, and Jerry's commentary anytime he was talking about Helen Hart and Stu was just perfect.
And the dinosaur couple.
Helen Hart's so stupid she gets her tongue stuck in a toaster trying to make French toast.
He's so old his dented records go back to the Triassic era.
There were 10,000 fatal car crashes last year in Canada, 9,000 of them caused by Helen Hart.
These two are so smooth.
Yeah,
look at that transition of a wrist lock. Like
that's Ultimo Dragon shit right there.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Ultimo Dragon had a match with Dolph Ziggler of all people on the Independents, and apparently gave Ziggler the seal of approval after their match. Like not only did he do the bow, but he gave him the hand raise, finger point, and everything.
Pretty cool.
That match. Ultimo
I always love me some Dragon.
Dolph's never really got his due.
Ultimo Dragon.
The man's never had his flowers.
57 years old, and he's still wrestling.
I mean, Tammy Sitch tried to give him some flowers.
That's a story that's very different.
We would never get it, but what if you got Kurt Hennig versus Dolph Ziggler, just the two best bumpers of their era?
Oh, so now we're booking old versus new.
Yeah, well, we're fantasy booking this shit because we'll never get it.
Well, if I'm ever fantasy booking, old versus new, whenever it comes to, it's Ziggler.
Not really old versus new, but Owen versus Lance Storm.
Oh, that would be good.
Ooh, Owen Lance would be fantastic.
Lance actually, unfortunately, I think closed his wrestling school a couple of years ago.
I believe so, which is a shame.
Well, I think it happened.
Oh, he's trained a lot of big ones. I mean, Taya Valkyrie started with Lance Storm.
Yeah. And just think about it, we were talking about New Blood Rising. Think about the rise that Storm had in WCW in 2000. Had Brett not got kicked in the head by dipshit, we could have gotten Brett and Lance.
Yeah.
If not for Gorg, we could have gotten Brett versus Lance. Well, they were doing the whole Team Canada thing, so they probably would have allied the two. But still, if Brett was still healthy, could have done.
Yeah. Well, Goldberg's house.
Just look at the execution.
Did you hear him on the interview of the week trying to bury Oscar? Because they used Oscar to beat his streak. It's like, dude, when they brought you into WWE, she was already halfway up to your streak. And then she just carried on. It's like it had nothing to do with Goldberg. The man is so self-obsessed. It's ridiculous.
Insane. It's insane.
I know the excellence of execution gets used so many times with Rick, but damn, he was even the simplest little thing, an arm bar like he's got here on Owen. It is just perfectly. I mean, it's textbook. I mean, every little thing Brett did was so perfect.
Brett understood wrestling in a way that very few competitors ever have. Oh, what a heel kick.
Well, I think Brett was, as some of you, he may have taken himself a bit too serious at times, but I would trade that for someone who doesn't. And he was so obsessed with making every little spot. And it was like, sort of like Randy how Savage obsessed over every little move, every little spot. Brett had that.
That's why the Brett Savage matches are so damn good.
To you two gentlemen, quick question. Would you rather have Prime Bret Hart versus Zack Sabre Jr. or Prime Bret Hart versus Bryan Danielson?
Oh, Bryan Danielson. Give me the Hitman and the American Dragon.
I adore Zack, and I adore Zack's wrestling style. I don't think Zack's definition of technical wrestling would fit as well with Brett as Bryan's.
Bryan and Brett could do a 60-minute. That'd be like Flair Steamboat. They could go 60 minutes and not even have a fall, and you'd still be entertained.
There'd be a couple of receipts from Brett to Bryan in that match, though.
I'm fine with receipts.
One chop or one kick, and Brett's like, hey, even Undertaker was like, there'd be a few receipts to Gunther if we were having a match. 2 chops in, we're throwing hands.
Yeah. Brett said
Taker didn't like chops.
Brett was at Clash at the Castle.
Yeah.
And he said in the interview afterwards, he goes, that's ridiculous. He goes, I'd let him chop me once, and that'd have been it.
Yeah, I would have let him chop. But you also have to remember, like, Sheamus and Drew were just sitting there taking them that night.
No, this was the Clash at the Castle, not WrestleMania. This was just
Clash
Sheamus.
At the Castle, they also had a triple threat, did they not? Or was it
Clash at the Castle, by the way, should become an annual event.
You're right.
It might be.
Clash at the Castle was Sheamus because Drew faced Roman and got screwed over by a debuting Solo Sikoa.
Yes, he did.
Is that the first time they've ever debuted somebody outside of the U.S.?
Good question. I'm trying to think about big time debuts outside of the U.S. Well, because the last big show they had outside of the U.S. was Wembley in '92.
And they didn't debut anybody there unless you count.
But they have done a bunch of Raws in London, SmackDowns in London. We've had an Irish Raw before.
Well, when I think like major, I'm thinking like PLEs, pay-per-views, things of that nature.
You don't have to have debuts on PLEs, pay-per-views.
Well, you mentioned debuting someone outside of the U.S. I was thinking on a grand scale.
Disregarding what AEW think, we don't need to debut people on pay-per-views.
No.
Another thing you guys may not notice, these guys have been going full bore this whole time. They've barely broken a sweat.
That was the greatest. That was the most beautiful fucking bridge to a suplex I've ever seen, and Brett landed on the back of his head first and foremost.
The cardio that these two had.
So we're
it's like watching two mechanics operate on a car.
5.5 hours, yeah.
What was that, Matty?
Live for baseball in 5.5 hours, right? Just so I can make the room.
6 p.m. my time, 5 p.m. your time.
Sounds good to me.
Right. Brett was like another thing. The small package, which can you see it done, on a fairly regular basis. But
moving on professional wrestling.
It was so seamless. Brett just. With Diesel, he made it look seamless. And Diesel was 6'10". That was how he beat him at Survivor Series 95.
Out of three moves and a bottle of Vidal Sassoon.
Yeah. Perfect tombstone pile driver from Owen.
Owen only ever made one mistake in his whole career, and that was the Austin drop.
And I don't think Austin ever forgave him for it.
No.
Oh no. I think he forgave him in the grave. I think he
never worked with him again. He refused to ever work with him again.
No, but he was there for the Owen tribute show. He raised, like he was there at the end of the show to not only close it out, but
I think Austin said it on a podcast that he regrets the fact that he never closed things up with Owen before he died.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think Austin, without a shadow of a doubt, forgave him in the
Bosh.
I know that for a fact.
Fantastic, Larry.
And the thing, another that's great about these two, whoever they were in the ring with, I mean, we're seeing it now with each other, but whoever they were in the ring, they not only delivered perfectly, but they sold perfectly. The Russian leg sweep, spot on.
Brett made anybody look good with just an Irish whip.
The way Brett pins people is just different.
Yeah.
The way he lays his body weight down, he arches his spine, he makes sure the shoulders are covered, but he makes sure there's not so much pressure so they can guarantee to kick out if they need to.
And it's the same thing with Owen. Like if we had more time with Owen, I think we could easily say that Owen Hart was the greatest wrestler of all time.
Possibly.
I mean, you never. I mean, obviously,
greatest underdog, without a shadow of a doubt.
Slings and arrows of outrageous fortune have robbed us of many a great career.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, it could very well be argued Owen could have been the best of all time.
And that's not even talking out of our ass or anything. Like that's like
no.
Go look at
Owen was trying to do the sharpshooter and he was putting it on wrong.
Yeah,
and Brett just popped him one right in the face.
Nice.
Now, you boys...
Scorpion, damn it, you gotta use the other leg.
Yeah, I was about to say, you boys have gone on...
Left leg for the sharpshooter, right leg for the deathlop.
Yeah.
And also Brett sort of grapevine, it was almost like a Texas cloverleaf in a way.
Yeah, the way he held under the knee.
And Sting just kind of had him crossed like an X. Yeah. Brett kind of had it a little like this.
So, gentlemen, can either of you tell me where's the best place to get a Philly cheesesteak?
In Philly, you want to go to Jim's Steaks.
That's the original, right?
Jim's is the original. There is also the more touristy one, which is it was on one of those shows. I know.
But Nick, if me and Cap can tell you anything, you have to seek out the original. So go to Jim's.
Jim's Steak. What's the name of the place? Because there's.
It's the one that's like right outside of the stadium, right?
Courtney.
It's the one that's right outside of the Phillies ballpark, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, Jim's Steaks, Philadelphia. That's the one you want to go to. Although it could be very fine to go to this other one. I'm trying to figure. Oh hell.
Owen just cracks me up, mocking Brett limping as he comes back in the ring. Nice dragon screw.
In terms of fluidity, Owen Hart had something that nobody else did at this time.
No, Owen's ability to transition from one move to another move to another move to another move.
Tony Luke's
story.
Tony Luke's is sort of the touristy, more famous one. Jim's is the original.
Okay.
So either Tony Luke's or Jim's, either one. They both do it right. It's just a matter of, do you prefer, Cheese Whiz or,
actual melted
cheese,
like provolone.
Cheese.
Yeah,
actual cheese.
Yeah,
but I will say.
Right, but did you know, guys, that Cheese Whiz has 47 ingredients?
I don't give a flying fuck.
And none of them are cheese.
None of them are cheese.
Do you think I care? I ain't here for a long time. I'm here for a good time.
Owen going for a figure four.
Doing the Flair head shake.
And just the little shove to the chin from Owen there.
Yeah.
These guys just understood the little things so well.
As we are very fond of saying here on the Wrestling Legion YouTube channel, less is more. And Brett and Owen understood that. Owen understood that. Brian Daniels.
And he reverses the pressure.
Roman Reigns understands this. How good is it going to be, Kat, by the way, to see what I predict to be the most overbooked match in the history of WrestleMania main events?
It's going to be
a
fucking atrociously overbooked. Yeah. I just hope
Road is going to hold the world championship at a WrestleMania.
I hope it actually happens. I mean, Vince is going to be spinning in his prison cell. I mean, in his apartment. I mean, the Royal Rumble, not this year, but last year. I mean, when Cody won, I was crying on Maddie's shoulder, thinking, yes, it's going to happen. We're going to get a Rhodes winning the belt. And then we didn't.
Mate, I was so pissed off in that stadium when Roman beat him. I was so angry. But this year, I predict the Avengers will assemble.
If they fuck it up this year and they still don't put the belt on Cody...
Oh, they're going to put the belt on Cody, and Cena and Austin are going to help it get there.
Bro, I think that if it happens, I'm going to lose my shit live.
Yeah. Well, they deliberately put up a truck that they are not using on Monday Night Raw with Cena and Austin on it. With The Rock stood right in between the two pitches. It was a fantastic camera shot. Very well done.
Well, now, so the tag team match, the stipulation is if Rock and Roman win, then it's bloodline rules.
And I think that Rock needs to pin Cody in that tag match.
Yep, I would be fine with that. And if it's bloodline rules...
It's more adversity for Cody to overcome. So at some point, The Rock can just knock out the referee and insert himself a special guest referee. But what the bloodline forget is bloodline rules means anything goes. That's for the other guy as well.
Yes.
And this is when I predict when Cody's at his lowest, the Avengers will assemble. Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. All the guys that have been wronged in this storyline, all of the guys that have been there trying to have Cody's back at one point or another will assemble, but they won't be enough because the debuting Tama Tonga will even out the numbers.
Well, it's also a bit of a throwback to Flair and Sting at Bash 90 when Sting had the Steiners, JYD, and at ringside to keep the Horsemen away. So it is a little bit of a throwback to that, and Triple H loves his throwbacks.
Yes, he does. But then I think they're not going to be enough because of the debuting Tama Tonga, and then the glass will break.
And Nick will shit himself. As I will too.
I will probably visibly cry on camera. Is what will happen. I will go absolutely ballistic if I get to see Austin at this Mania. I don't care. I've already seen Cena, seen Cena twice. But Austin, that's something I never thought I'd get. Like I never thought I'd get to see The Rock, but never getting to see The Rock and Austin on the same show.
Maybe the last time you get to see them both on the same show.
Yeah,
possibly. And that I just wanted to insert that mule kick, as they call it, that Owen just did to Brett. He waited until the referee was looking right at Brett. He didn't just do it. He waited, and he timed it just right. Brett's down. He's holding his balls. What happened? Well, the referee could not have seen it.
And again,
I swear Brett just tapped. If you watch that, he taps the mat 3 times.
Well, that was before they did the tap out thing in wrestling.
Verbal. It had to be verbal, didn't it?
It had to be verbal back in the day.
I still go with the fucking tap out rule, man. 3 taps to the mat, you're out.
Well, again, it wasn't a thing back. It was you had to say it to the referee, or if it was an actual I quit match. Oh, and perfect counter by Owen here, and Owen wins the match.
Just what with the spit hanging out of his mouth and everything. Just a phenomenal piece of work.
And what's great is this was brother versus brother. Like, Brett didn't get up. Brett didn't just immediately get pissed off. And
the sad thing is, they've only done brother versus brother at WrestleMania twice up until now, which was this match, and then Matt versus Jeff Hardy.
25.
Matt versus Jeff Hardy was bloody awful.
Yes.
I mean, if
they did not gel well at all.
If you like ridiculous high spots and Jeff Hardy throwing himself off of shit, you enjoyed the match.
But it wasn't. It by no means was.
It
a
was
good
not a
match.
good match.
They did not gel well at all.
They had a much better match in the I Quit match at Extreme Rules.
Yes, they did. But Jimmy versus Jay has got a lot of shoes to fill going off this match.
Yes,
this year, and I think those two boys are going to pull out every single stop they can. The Usos are both ridiculously talented. Jimmy doesn't get as much credit as he deserves.
You're going to hate me, Nick.
Go on.
They got the same move set aside from signatures.
Yep.
Well, so did Brett and Owen.
No.
Sharpshooter, figure 4 leg lock.
They had the same signatures. Their move sets themselves were different. Owen was much more of the explosive high flyer, high hitting moves. Brett was much more your technical ground. Yeah, he did hit the impactful superplex every now and then, but everything he did was much more ground based.
All right, so looks like for the main event, at least of our show, Matty, you want to be at 154.00.
I am on the ring announcer in the ring.
Yeah, I see. I mean, I'm seeing the ring announcer in the ring with the belts held aloft.
Yeah.
154 what?
154.00 is where I'm at.
Okay, guys.
And I do have to relieve some ballast very quick because I want to enjoy this.
We've got a minute and a half to fill because my shit went to commercial. Anywho.
It's all right. Yeah, mate. So are you looking forward to wrestling with your thoughts?
I am. I'm always looking forward to be doing these booking shows because...
Well, you see, I tried to get you
one thing.
A title shot, but the champ said no.
Yeah, I was about
the champ
to say...
said you had to earn your way back. The champ said you had to earn your way back in.
Trust me.
So this is your chance to earn your way back in.
He's not the only champion that said that. I tried to buy the Jack of all trades championship off of Chris Cass this past week. So,
how did Sav get on against? Sav?
He didn't do bad. He finished top 4, meaning that because somebody in the multiverse of media over there was like, there needs to be a rematch with the top 4, and Sav was in there. So I was like, let's fucking go.
Nah,
for a 7-room trivia match and Sav to finish 4th for something that he basically been preparing for in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. So he did damn good. I'm proud of him. He did Crew Day very proud.
No, I'm just for him. I'm glad he did. Oh yeah, but when the captain comes back, I want to make this a regular thing again. So anyone that's watching at home knows we're going to try and do this at least once a month. I would hope every 2 weeks, if that was possible, but that's up to my co-hosts.
For this show?
Yes.
The bi-weekly? I'm pretty sure we could do that. I have no issue
I'd like to do it every 2 weeks.
I would judge anything anytime you wanted. As far as me booking something, I need a month.
Oh, that's fine. No, but this show.
This show. Oh, yeah.
I want to do every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks? Fuck yeah, I'm in.
Every 2 weeks on a Sunday.
What was that, Maddie?
Timestamp.
15400.
Okay, give me just a minute.
Now, ladies and gents, if you are still watching along with us, we are watching Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon, the ladder match from WrestleMania 10 next. Arguably the best ladder match in WrestleMania history.
One of the greatest
This
matches.
can be argued with WrestleMania 17s, but I love this match because the ladder is used exactly as a ladder should be used in a ladder match.
All right,
Yes.
I gotta go take a leak for the exact same reason that Cap took a leak.
That's fine because I will be doing it after you.
I do want to get your opinion on this, Nick. So, this particular match versus the rematch at SummerSlam 1995. What are your thoughts on the two? I personally, as an actual match, I prefer this one. But when I go back and I've gone back and watched the one from August of '95 several times, to me that one it was sort of like Taker Shawn, 25 and 26. Obviously, 25 was the classic. That was the better of the two. But then when I go back and watch the rematch, I'm like, this ain't fucking bad either. This is pretty damn good.
No. The way I like to look at it is this is technically a better match, but the rematch has more spectacle.
Yes.
The rematch has more spectacle, more awe to it because Shawn was Shawn. Shawn wanted to push it a bit further in the rematch, so he tried to do even more.
And I mean, they worked their ass off in both of them. I hate how in the IWC, the International Wrestling Community, a lot of times the SummerSlam rematch gets shat upon, and I think it's just I think it's a phenomenal match. Just like they said,
wrestling community.
Right. Bathroom Brad's back in a second.
I'm like, Taker Shawn at 26 wasn't even nearly as good. It's like, no, it was still damn good. It's just you're trying to top something that can't be topped. You're asking more of mortal men than can be asked.
I don't know, man, because yes, at a time I thought that Taker Shawn 26 was the perfect match. For the longest time, I thought that was the perfect match.
26 or 25?
26.
26. Okay.
The retirement match. Until last year, when Sabre Danielson finally happened, and it actually happened to be one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life. In fact, the best match I've ever seen in my life.
You're still hard from that one.
Still, to this day. But I don't know. There's a possibility that match could be topped as well. Like, professional wrestling is always a never say never kind of ordeal.
Exactly.
It does not matter.
I hate to tell you this, but you're wrong, because the greatest wrestling match of all time is Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle from WrestleMania 21.
Well, you're wrong, so.
Well, I still think it was
the greatest technical wrestling match I've ever watched in my life.
No,
but it's not the best wrestling match I've ever watched in my life.
Greatest match.
I still think it's Flair and Steamboat, so we're all in disagreement there.
All right, guys. Are we ready for this?
I am ready.
In 3, 2, 1, play.
All right. So for those wondering why there are two separate Intercontinental Championships hanging aloft in Madison Square Garden, one man was the champion and was relinquished, and the other man injured. The other man became champion. So this is a unification match between those two belts.
Well, they officially stripped Shawn of the title, but he never returned the belt.
Correct.
When he came back, he was carrying the Intercontinental Champion and calling himself, kind of doing what Ric Flair did in 1992 when he was the real Intercontinental Champion. And
the real NWA, the real World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, but in this case, he was the real Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
And I love this entrance where he walks under the ladder. Where Shawn avoids
that was because That was because Jim Herd refused to reimburse Flair the $25,000 deposit that the NWA champion had to pay.
Yes. I love this entrance. Shawn walks around the ladder, Razor goes straight underneath it.
And there you have Kevin Nash, Diesel in the bodyguard role.
Before I even let him get in the ring.
It's crazy. In 6 months, it literally in 6 months from this event, Nash is going to be tag team champion with Shawn, Intercontinental champion himself, and then world champion just after Survivor Series in November. So within 6 months, he's going to hold all three championships.
Grand Slam.
That's a push. That's a fucking push.
This is going to be... I haven't watched this match in years, so I'm really looking forward to this.
It's been... I think the last time I watched... It was on my very first podcast, WrestleVault. This was our first season. We did the top 40 matches of the last 40 years. And this was one that we watched. And I love going back and watching Scott Hall during this time because he had only been in the business, I think, 5 6 years at this point. He's not green by 80, but it's how fast he picked it up and how he went from never having done it to here he's, co-headlining Mania, and he's at this time one of the top 4 or 5 workers in the business.
Well, it took a while for Scott's demons to get the better of him, and at this point, he was still. He had the
demons under control at this. I mean, obviously, this was the era of the Somas. He and Shawn, and but the demons were under control, and he was not 19. Okay. Let's say 1994 to 1997. That stretch, Scott Hall was just an absolute phenomenal worker, and I can't remember a single match I saw from him during that era that wasn't great, or at least very good.
Scott Hall is undeniably one of the top 5 Intercontinental champions of all time.
Without a doubt. First 4-time Intercontinental champion.
Yeah, first 4-time Intercontinental champion, but he's easily in anybody's top 5 for IC champions of all time. Perfect. Scott Hall.
Brett.
Gunther, Brett. And
so you said Scott, Gunther, Brett, Shawn, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, he was the perfect Intercontinental champion. Those 5, I would. Rock had a nice run with the Intercontinental title, but he only held it twice. Mm-hmm. And for those of you wondering, this is the same outfit Shawn wore in the first time WWF did a ladder match. It was Shawn versus Brett on a house show, which actually wound up on a VHS that I still have.
That is not the first ladder match in WWF, though Brett was in the first ladder match in WWF.
Which was the first?
Bret Hart versus Rick Martel. And it was on a house show, and they used a window cleaner's ladder.
I have never seen that match.
And a bit of scaffold. And the referee had to hold the ladder every time someone wanted to climb up it.
I have never seen that match. I didn't even know it existed.
What a choke slam from Razor, by the way.
Yeah. Scott Hall, can we just say The Rock stole his punches from Scott Hall?
Oh, Scott Hall, Jeff Jarrett, those 2 best working punches. Austin Rock, Hall and Jarrett just best working punches.
Jeff Jarrett's got the best left hand in the business, so if Foley says it, it's true.
God, I love Mick so much. I could Mick, to me, he's almost like Heyman. I can just sit and listen to Mick tell stories about anything.
Did you know he's training to wrestle again?
Yes, and I am so overwhelmingly against that.
one more death match specifically.
Yeah, against Matt Cardona.
Mick, you've done enough. You've proved enough.
Let it go.
Let
You don't need to do anything else,
go.
No.
It's like Ric Flair. Sean gave you the perfect retirement match.
Yeah,
you never should have gotten in the ring after that.
Us three said this on the other company. Mick Foley has given us enough because I think Mick Foley wanted to do something about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And we back then were like, no, Mick, you've given this company enough. There's no need to take any bumps of any sort.
Mick Foley does not need to sacrifice any more of his well-being for our entertainment. He has done more than enough.
But that's what he wants.
Mick, your legacy is intact. And he is ordering Diesel away from ringside.
That was a nice paycheck for Kevin.
And this is where the greatest ladder match of all time truly begins.
Yeah. The one thing I love about this match more than any other ladder match, except for the rematch, is they only use one ladder.
Yep.
I used to love that in old ladder matches. Oh, love that flip.
Oh.
Is there a better, other than Ric Flair, is there a better seller during this era than Shawn? I mean, I know we talk about Kurt Hennig.
Perfect.
But Flair and Shawn,
I could argue that Sushi Onita was actually getting stabbed at this point in time, so he was a pretty good seller.
Yeah, that wasn't selling. That's just legitimate pain.
Yes. Shawn and Flair just, and they could work with smaller guys, bigger guys, and they sold so damn well.
I think they both work better with bigger men than they did with smaller men.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Taker always said Taker always loved working with Shawn or guys his size.
Yeah. It's an easy story to tell.
And I love this. And it happened so many times. And Scott, he would go for the razor's edge with the guy just near the ropes, and then he would take that beautiful backdrop as only Scott could do, and just collapse in a heap. It's like you saw it coming, and every time it happened, you're like, how's he going to do it this time?
I think we just need to take 5 seconds to admire Shawn Michaels' glorious 1990s mullet.
I was actually going to mention that. Yeah, that is mullet 90s personified.
It's a beautiful thing to see.
No, it is
a tradition that Dominic Mysterio is trying to rewrite.
And I fucking love Dom so much.
Nicholas, I love you.
I just cannot get enough of Dom Mysterio. I hate that Jimmy Bebe and I agree on things like this, but give me as much Dom as I can.
Even I agree on Dom now. That kid has got it.
Oh, the kid's got it.
Finally! We were telling you this 2 years ago, my friend.
Yeah, well, I don't agree with nepotism in professional wrestling. That was my only problem with Dom.
Now, if we could just bring you around to the final boss.
No, you did not mention that name on my show.
Gorg?
Right? No. And the final boss is The Rock. It's official. Official now. There's merch with it on and everything. So that's all I'm saying.
I'm a guest. I will not mention the name. If we got him to come around on Dom, maybe miracles can happen.
No. Miracles can happen, but hell will never freeze over my
Hey, the Eagles got back together. They made an album out of it.
Guys,
I hate the fucking Eagles, man.
Well, look at you, Jeffrey Lebowski.
I hate the Eagles, mate. I can't stand them. If I have to listen to Hotel California one more time, I'm going to find the guy and shoot him.
California. Whenever Maddie moves to Arkansas, that's like got to be one of our set closers whenever we start doing our acoustic show.
Oh, dang.
Ow.
Ouch.
Oh,
you are.
Christ almighty.
On your back. Just getting a ladder slung on your back. Yeah, that'll be fine. They learn how to fall.
That one, he just threw it at him, and he didn't quite and the edge of the ladder hit him right in that upper third of the back.
Yeah.
We never got we got two great ladder matches out of these two. We never got a cage match with them, I don't think.
No, because the cage match was Shawn versus Diesel, the curtain call.
Well, we also got Brett versus Diesel in a cage. We never got Brett versus Shawn in a cage. Never got Shawn versus Razor in a cage.
No.
So many great cages we never got. I'm sorry, the fact that Razor even just got up that quick after those two ladder shots. That is. Shawn ass. We just got Shawn ass.
With his pants down, and he still does a flying elbow drop off the ladder.
That's one of his favorite things he does. Is just get his cheeks out.
Yeah.
I mean, Flair got away with it on many occasions. Maddie, you could get away with it.
Can I?
Please don't.
No.
It was like that movie Bowfinger with Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy. We need a guy with a terrific ass, and mine's the wrong color.
That was a deep cut.
Hey, Bowfinger, it has been shat upon so many times. It's Eddie Murphy, who is a god among my people. Shawn going for the splash. This iconic shot. Perfectly delivered.
One thing you can't beat about old WrestleManias and old wrestling shows is the flash photography during certain moves.
Oh my god, dude! I've said this so many times. I miss that so much.
Yeah,
I miss flash photography and signs.
The signs are starting to come back.
I have noticed that they're not peak attitude yet. I do want to see the signs start to come back. I think that was a Vinceism that he didn't want to see signs.
We're not going to see people getting called cum guzzlers and the F word on the TV screen anytime soon.
Well, we did. The Rock dropped an F-bomb on Monday.
The other F word.
Oh, no, they're not going to do that anymore.
No, I'm talking about crowd signs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hopefully they're not going to do that anymore either.
No, if they do what Cap wants, get your signs out there.
You pay your money, show your sign.
Oh, Lord.
Sign, sign, everywhere, sign. And the fact that this ladder is basically cutting off a third of the ring, and they still use the other 2/3 as well as they do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just we mentioned timing, we mentioned footwork, and we also mentioned spatial awareness.
People can complain about the Click monopolizing the main event division for as long as they did, but if you can find two better workers at this point than Scott and Shawn, I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason. Well, it's like when the Horsemen. Yeah, there's a reason they were the Horsemen. They were the four best fucking workers in Jim Crockett Promotions. There's a reason the Click, they were the best workers. Apart from Brett and Owen, but
they were the best workers and Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash was a great worker for what he had. He only had
5 moves and a bottle of Vidal Sassoon made him a hell of a career.
6 moves, pardon me, and for a big man, he had great timing. I always thought big man, Nash had phenomenal timing.
It was just, unfortunately, he always used to put himself in situations with men he couldn't physically powerbomb. And the whole thing that got Kevin over was he had the best powerbomb because he literally used to dump you. And it looked fantastic. Yeah. And then he put himself in matches with Sid and Big Show and all these people that he couldn't physically powerbomb. It was stupid.
That corner bump Shawn just took, by the way, that was classic.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Razor's turn with the ladder. Bang. That was nice.
The way they told the story in this match, It stole the show. I mean, and it's the first time that a ladder match stole the show from the main event in Madison Square Garden. Don't forget Triple H and Rock, SummerSlam '98. As good as Taker and Austin was, you weren't going to top Triple H and Rock. They stole the show that night.
Slingshot.
Nothing like a good slingshot. And Sean had the best. Sean had the best. He sold the slingshot so well.
Mm-hmm.
Just so much better than everybody else.
I can also say,
Shawn Michaels.
Look at it. Cactus Jack and Triple H stole the show from the Royal Rumble in 2000.
Yep. That was the match that sold me on Hunter. Like that was the one that finally sold me. Okay, this guy, he's got it. The pain he withstood and the show he put on with Mick.
The hole in his calf. The ridiculous hole in his calf that was just pumping blood out like a tap through the entire match. With a piece of wood sticking in it. Oh,
I just realized he not only did that for him, but he also did that for Randy Orton back in like 2004, 2005.
Mm-hmm. Where Randy Orton's only job was to take one bump in tacks. And not only did he cover his entire back, but he literally armored his arm with drawing pins. Orton
made it look fantastic. Continued to have a great match. Fucking Foley did it for Edge, who people were like, Edge is getting boring. And Edge is like, I'm getting fucking boring, am I?
I'm going to spare him through a flaming table.
Mick made so many guys. He put over so many guys. But the thing is, he did it in a way that made you respect the other, not just put him over, but you were like, damn, this guy just went through this with Foley. I mean, that takes some cojones.
That's the thing, because Mick, as the phrase goes, was also a stiff little shit.
Yes.
Yeah. That is that's a fair statement.
What do you think the sleeper match is from this year's Mania, boys?
Can you go through the card real quick?
Yes, I can. Give me a sec.
I love you. Thank you.
I think it's either going to be the brother versus brother.
Dude,
I'm trying to think sleeper matches. Ones that we think may not be as good, but could be great.
I'm really worried about that Usos match sucking. I'm sorry.
I think it's either going to be the Usos or it's going to be Bayley's Women's Championship match. And they've broken the ladder.
Oh, jeez. Waiting for my phone to load up this list. Okay, so the matches are as follows from this year's WrestleMania.
All
Rock
right.
versus Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins.
Obviously.
Cody versus Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Seth versus Drew. Io Sky versus Bayley. Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. Gunther versus Sami Zayn. Finn Balor and Damian Priest versus DIY versus The Awesome Truth versus The New Day versus A-Town Down Under versus New Catch Republic versus that's it for the 6-way tag team championship. Then you have LA Knight versus AJ Styles, Jimmy versus Jay, Logan Paul versus Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi versus the rest of Damage Control, and of course Roman and Cody is the main event.
I almost put Logan in there, but we know Logan always performs. Io and Bayley or Jimmy versus Jay are the sleepers that I think could impress us.
I'm glad me and Cap are on the same wavelength because I have Io and Bayley as my sleeper.
Well, I've got it tossed up between Io and Bayley and LA Knight and AJ Styles.
Oh, that one's going to be a banger. We know it. LA Knight, it's AJ Styles. That's going to. I have no worries about that one.
None whatsoever.
When I think sleep, I think, okay, you look at the card like, okay, this one could kind of go one way or the other, but I think it could really impress. Those are the Jimmy and Jay and Io and Bailey. But the others, I think, well, obviously the tag team match is just going to be a fucking mishigosh. But
yeah, but last year's multi-man tag team match was so entertaining. So I'm hoping this one is also the same, and it's a ladder match.
Are they doing the Andre Battle Royal this year?
They're doing it on SmackDown.
Oh yeah, that's right. I wish they'd do that on the actual show.
You can pick for that this year.
I don't even know who the hell's in it.
I think Braun Strowman's going to return and win it.
Braun Breaker.
Oh, Breaker would be a good pick. Breaker would be a good pick.
If Breaker's in it, I think that would be a very good launch point for him on the main roster.
Well, you say that, but what have they done with anyone who's won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal?
Nothing, but when was the last time someone won it and they actually had a booker at the helm who could do something? And especially with someone with Strowman's capabilities. Sean almost got it. Almost got it. Oh.
That's great test. Shoulder blocks. Oh! Oh no. Oh. What a great finish.
Sean really was the best at selling that spot.
He's tied up and his balls are in pain.
His balls are in his throat.
He is singing soprano. Diesel's been sitting back, Jerry.
Ties his arm up at the same time.
Very Three Stooges, but damn it works.
Oh, it's so good.
And Razor has both belts. And this would be Razor's second reign?
Yeah. The reaction from the crowd, everyone stood up on their feet. Flashbulbs going crazy when he goes for the belts.
Well, you mentioned Brett and Martel in the first ladder match. Razor won his first Intercontinental title in the finals of a tournament against Rick Martel.
Yes, he did.
See, we're giving you guys pearls today. These two old fucks are just giving you pearls. Pearls of wisdom.
Right, well, that was amazing.
Well, do you boys know what the next show we'll be watching is?
Yes, Matty.
NXT Brooklyn, I think.
Watching NXT Takeover Brooklyn.
So I was showing Alora.
So I'm coming into that cold as a cucumber, but I am. Hey, if Nick recommends it, then
the matches now. What do you reckon we watch? Pick 3. Worst match on the show, 2 best matches on the show.
Oh, worst match on the show. Hell, we can throw that to the tag team match between the Vaudevillains and Blake and Murphy.
Yeah, that'll do.
Just the names alone tell me all I need to know about that one.
believe it or not, the Vaudevillains you are gonna love.
Okay. So what are the two biggies? I promise I will not watch. I have seen one NXT Black and Gold pay-per-view in my life. I will not watch. I will be surprised. I will come into this thing cold and ready for an education.
Let me have a look at the match card.
I want to put Tyler Bate, or not Tyler Bate, Tyler Breeze. I want to put Tyler Breeze versus Jushin Liger on there, but I'm not sure if that's going to beat out.
No. Well, they were the 2 matches I was going for.
Jushin Liger. Oh, I just got a semi.
But
okay,
so the 2 main events were Sasha Banks versus Bayley, and Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor in a fucking ladder match. So, do we do a 4-show match or 4-show card?
4-match show?
Because like that, if we miss one, we miss one of the best shows in the show.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say the worst match on the card isn't the tag match.
Okay,
it's Joe versus Corbin.
Yeah, I could say that.
So why don't we do Joe versus Corbin, Liger versus Breeze, Sasha versus Bayley, and Owens versus
4-match show. I can do that. We can do that.
Yeah, I'm in. I've never seen it before.
Johnny.
I have no idea.
In 2
I don't know
weeks'
what's
time,
good and
we'll
what's
be
not.
doing NXT Takeover Brooklyn. We'll be watching Samoa Joe versus Baron Corbin, Sasha Banks versus Bayley, Jushin Thunder Liger versus the Prince Pretty himself, Tyler Breeze, and Kevin Owens versus the Demon Finn Balor.
Owens and Balor. Owens and Balor I would like because the first time I ever actually saw Kevin Owens wrestle was WrestleMania. It was yeah. Well, I was to say it was the Owens WrestleMania ladder match where Daniel Bryan I think won the Intercontinental title.
Wait, was it the one?
It was the Sting Triple H Mania.
Yeah,
I remember I was watching that with my girlfriend at the time. She was a big wrestling fan.
31.
That was the first match I ever saw of Kevin Owens in my life. Was a ladder match.
Well, this is a much different Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens in NXT was a lot closer to his Ring of Honor counterpart in Kevin Steen. He was a lot more violent. He was a lot angrier.
Why did kill Finn Balor in this match?
He does. Straight out tries to kill Finn in this match. It's amazing.
You cannot kill Finn Balor. He's like a cockroach of pro wrestling.
He tries.
He
definitely tries.
You can't kill Finn Balor.
He tries. But yeah, folks, if you enjoy the show, that's the show. We'll be back every other Sunday for more watch-alongs with NXT takeovers. Obviously, it was WrestleMania this week because it is WrestleMania next week. But we'll be doing NXT takeovers from now on. Hence, Takeover the Table. I would like to thank the captain and Matty.
2 years in the making.
Yeah, I would like to thank Captain and Matty for joining me today. It's really great to finally get this project off the ground.
Anytime.
And always remember, we are but three geeks obsessed with a good show. And our opinion means nothing without yours in the comments below. I've been Nick the Geek. That's the captain. That's Matty. See you in 2 weeks.